choices will follow you the rest of your life. There's a song representing the church. They say, yield not to temptation. Well, the mistake a lot of folk make is they feel that means that you're not going to have temptation. No, it says yield not to temptation, meaning you won't be tempted. It's always easier to get distraction, because that's what a distraction is. What's harder is to remain focused and say that I'm disciplined enough to do what needs to be done. In growing up, I was privileged to meet a lot of people that had made great achievements. Some in the ministry, some in civil rights, some in politics, some in the arts. The older I got, the more I began noticing that they all had the same traits in some ways, even though they had different disciplines, different ambitions, different goals. All of them had an uncanny ability to focus and remain disciplined. And the world saw the results of that, but very rarely did they see those aspects in them. I was raised by my mother. My father left when I was very young. So I was fathered by mentors. One of them, I lived right here a while in Georgia with. You would know him as the godfather, soul James Brown. And I learned from watching James Brown. Everybody watched his show and heard his music, but they didn't see the hours of rehearsal and the hours of toil and the kind of effort and discipline it was. I remember when he first said to me that he was going to take me on the road on weekends and let me earn some money for my youth group. I had a youth civil rights group. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Private jet he had, and at that time, James Brown and Elijah Muhammad, the only blacks in the country on their own jet. So that was a big deal to me. Until I got out there and found out that we were going to a different city every day. The only thing I saw in each city was the airport, the highway, to the hotel, the place he was playing, and back to the airport. So by the time I was grown, I had been all over the world and had seen none of the world. Because of the rigid discipline that it took to do what he did. Same thing was true later. Michael Jackson and I got close. But I learned that if you're not willing to invest in that, you will not achieve that. I also met many wannabe stars who got more caught in the glamour than the rigor, and their careers lasted about as long as my speech will be lasting today. First time somebody got their autograph, they laid back. And that's the last time we heard about them. You've got to be willing to pay a price. And part of your price is discipline and focus. Every time you go to a doctor's office, you're looking at someone who is disciplined enough to learn medicine. Every time you go in a classroom, someone disciplined enough to learn education. Every time you go to church, well, hopefully you learn from a preacher. Learn